Welcome to the DigiByte Comm Talk. I'm your host, Script Skynet, and I have with me Wade from Digit Hustle News. Wade, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I feel like I'm sitting at the cool kids table now, man.
Yeah, we are. We are the
Pleasure.
cool kids. We are the cool kids. I just watched your video earlier on Digit Hustle News on YouTube about the crypto crash and and everything. I do watch you. I do watch actually a diverse younger group of YouTubers. I haven't seen an old YouTuber yet. An old guy doing YouTube. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for new talent. Always, looking for people like us that are just really educated and basically helpful. And I get that sense about you. So when did you get into crypto, and how? And I noticed you did quite a few DigiByte videos as well.
Yeah, because in the beginning, DigiByte was definitely one of the projects that caught my attention. To get into the story of how I got into crypto in general, it wasn't the most positive intentions. I'll admit that. There was a popular thing going on. Well, I'll say it like this: the negative side of Bitcoin that people love to highlight about the crime and all of that, I was exposed to that at a certain point.
Okay.
But the beauty about it, the beautiful thing is that instead of going deeper in that direction, I learned about Bitcoin, blockchain, the history of it, and then this whole world of finance opened up to me. And then I started learning about different exchanges and other tokens, Ethereum, XRP, and then I just fell down the rabbit hole from there. So
nice. So we all have different ways how we get here, right?
Yeah, I like to tell people that it saved me. It saved me a bit. But as for with DigiByte though, it's always been, because once I got more versed with crypto, I started to look at it as an investor, because I started to hear the narratives of how this time was compared to, the early internet.com bubble, all that stuff like that. So I started to look at assets that offered things that could be done in the real world. And repeatedly, DigiByte would come up in that conversation. So, yeah.
Yeah, DigiByte has been everywhere for the most part, in all different kinds of communities. Swap from DigiByte XRP, or XRP to DigiByte. It's or Doge to you've seen it. I mean, especially on crypto Twitter. A lot more people coming out and supporting it.
Yeah, and the math behind DigiByte is pretty solid too. The more research I do behind it, like I'm really looking forward to how, with only having 7 billion left, how is that gonna make the next few months or even a couple years look for DigiByte?
Definitely smaller rewards as the miners go on, but at least it's sooner than Bitcoin. We'll never be alive by the time
that's true. But I'm curious, like, about I think they call it something similar to a supply shock, but let's just say we do get close to that maximum supply for DigiByte, and there's a lot of network activity that would do well for the price, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially with all the use cases DigiByte has, and I believe more is going to be coming in. It's not like this is it, like, all right, this is what DigiByte is. It's going to stay like this forever. No, it's completely changing and ever growing. And, the developers are thinking new use cases, all the time. I mean, way ahead of the curve. And we got mathematicians literally just, like Yoshi, just writing out math that would change DigiByte forever. I mean, of course, he blurted out and he didn't really share it with us, but I mean, that's the kind of diverse people that you have. You got a bunch of basically like people helping people that, with their wallets and understanding crypto in the official support channel on Telegram. So, and then you have people like you and me that just want to, cover the news. Because when I started, I covered the news for DigiByte. you know, and that's a rabbit hole in itself. I mean, it's almost like a
Yeah.
setup. I got set up. I was like reading all this news. I was like, you know what? This is great
Yeah.
reads, man. All these, you know, 3-4 syllable words, you know, that I had to like stop the video and go, relentlocate or something like that. Like trying to
Right.
repeat
And
something that
different
wrote down.
organizations.
Yeah.
Like it was actually the work they were doing in the United Arab Emirates that really drew a lot of attention to my channel when I covered DigiByte's work over there. And that was an interesting read. I'm still curious to see what developments come from that. But another thing I noticed is that they make a lot of long-term plays. DigiByte has a lot of long-term positioning. So I can understand why a lot of people, you know, come at DigiByte, and that's because they're looking for short-term immediate gains. And this isn't necessarily one of those projects, you know?
Right. We do have a channel for that. It's called like DigiWaves on Telegram. That's where everybody does all the TA and stuff in there, and it's like your own little DigiByte community just with the price action.
Cool.
So what really got? I noticed that you shouted me out on one of your videos because I don't know if you knew this or not. I watched you pretty close to the beginning, just like Dub Digital and multiple other people. So what I noticed you shouted me out for talking with Juan at AntimID and the Microsoft partnership that he had over there with Azure.
Yeah, I've been watching your channel for a while. Like your channel was definitely one of the ones that I went to before I started mine, just to kind of see how it was done at all types of levels, you know.
I actually liked the music, the intro that you chose. It was like kind of 80s thrash, you know. And I like yeah, dude, because I've been made fun of a lot with my like, you know, 80s, 90s, you know, like just synth wave music, but I think I keep thinking it's appropriate, like cyberpunk music. It's appropriate for crypto.
That's what I was going for
like
too. A digital
feel and level, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. That digital feel, that Cyberpunk 2077, Ready Player One, like, and I noticed that as generations occur, we often go back in time a few years. Yeah. Like it was nostalgia. The 80s were the thing a few years ago. Now we seem to be going into the 90s again. And you know, plus that theme song is just, it's upbeat. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's upbeat. I have a few upbeat ones,
excited.
Some darker side ones, but I get the music that appeals to me. I mean, look at the little icon there. It's a Terminator face, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Got some music for that too, but it all seems like, yeah, that's the feel that I want to go with, and like I showed you here, I don't know if I can. Oh, and I would have to remove us, but like here, like I like to play with the, you know, the sharpness, kind of expand the exposure and make them neon, you know, like thumbnails and stuff like that. It's fun to do, especially I get to talk to people like you that are involved in crypto, and it's just really fun to do, man. I mean, it's cool, and I hope I never treat it like a job, you know, like, oh, I gotta do a video, you know. You ever feel like that?
Right. Oh man, that's the being a YouTuber side. Like it's one thing to talk about crypto, but then there's another thing to work YouTube. Like I've been thinking about putting together a little group, maybe a group chat about that for us guys to talk about, because it's hard being a YouTuber, man. Because you do feel that, like, if I miss a day, oh man, that's a whole day's events. I'm gonna be behind. Someone else is gonna post it. I'm gonna lose that traction. Like, yeah.
I woke up and I saw that on a tweet that Binance listed DigiByte, and I looked on YouTube real quick. It was still early in the morning, and no one covered it. I was like, man, I'll just do a short video right here on the spot. Right. Looks like, you know, Binance listed DigiByte. This is bullish, you know, out of all the, you know, the.
So wait, this happened today?
I'm sorry, what?
This happened today?
No. right after the potential Coinbase listing, right?
Oh, okay.
DigiByte got listed on Binance, and I covered it. So it was like a year ago.
Right, because I seen I must say I know DigiBytes on there.
And I broke
Yeah,
out. I broke out with that news first on YouTube. I was like, "Wow!" And someone said, "You did it first." I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of a timing thing." It's like,
yeah,
you really got to be. If you want to be first, you got to wake up, at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, if you're making hundreds of dollars off just doing each YouTube video, then it would probably be worth staying ahead of on the game. I mean,
yeah. But it's you got to kind of build up to that point.
yeah.
That's how Alchemy Pay worked out for me. I got lucky because I was just on Masari, and they have a tab where they give you intel and research, and that listing popped up, and it was only an hour old, and I just happened to be in front of the computer. I'm like, okay, let me check this project out. Sure enough, their project soared like 40-50% or something
Oh
crazy like
wow.
that. So yeah, the YouTube side is definitely a trip, man.
Yeah. And then you guys stay in touch with or in tune with Twitter, and I'm not big on Instagram or Facebook, so it's just like crypto Twitter, YouTube. Of course, all
Yeah,
the
same.
news you can get through crypto Twitter. You know what I mean? And all the
Mhm.
connections, pretty much everything you want. You just follow all these people, and then they have YouTube channels as well. And but I've really been focused on people that are like you have. What are some of the things that you feel that make you different than other YouTube channels?
I try to keep I try to keep that global perspective in mind, and then on top of that, I try to keep a future perspective. Like that's why I can't really find myself just honing in on one specific coin. Like
Hmm.
I notice a lot of channels that do that as they get bigger, they'll
Hmm.
start to hone in on one coin. And I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I want to paint a broader picture. Like I may my portfolio has a number of coins in it. I mean, that's because I like to diversify. But I've been thinking recently about the channel just focusing on maybe a core 8 that represent different industries, because I want to keep people aware of the different industries that crypto is disrupting right now. And I think that would be my position. I shed awareness on the inner workings, not just price action and who's partnered with who and which government is adopting this coin. It's just like, for instance, Cello is doing work for universal basic income for refugees, and because I've been focusing on content around Africa, that's the type of thing that I can expose to people. So
So, Hugh Charay here, that's in the chat.
what's
Um,
up, brother?
I told him in Twitter Space, I was like, yeah, I made some pretty small or big profits off small capital. One of the videos was I watched your Tezos staking protocols and what they were getting into, and I knew, right, all right, 3,000 there. It was like it was a no
Yep.
brainer for me. And then Algorand, I was already had 3 grand in Algorand, and I had I needed to put 3 grand, and I knew something was about with Cosmos as well. So all these staking protocol, these older ones, they're about to pop off. I mean, even on the charts, they were looking good. So
Mhm.
I just kind of knew. I was like, wow, okay. So we got some news about Tezos, Algorand, Cosmos. I'm just gonna throw some capital in there. I mean, even though we cover the news, a lot of times I don't get to capitalize on some of the things that I talk about, even. And then I'm like, stupid,
Yeah.
I mean, because stupid because I even cover the
I know the
news and I
feeling.
didn't even throw in some of my, 2 cents.
Man, that's how I feel about Polkadot. I ain't gonna lie, because it early in my channel I had an eye on Polkadot, but I couldn't understand the language.
Oh,
When
really?
you talk about Polkadot, there's a lot of developer language and lingo. And
Mhm.
Chain Trends, he actually helped me a lot with that. And when we did our little discussion, but that's how I
Yeah,
feel about
that's your
Polkadot,
first
man.
interview with Chain Trends and crypto. Chain Trends, crypto. I like super chat them. You guys couldn't see the comments or something, but by the way, you can see the comments. there should be a little comment button. You should see all these
Okay.
comments.
Yeah, I'm on full screen here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those are all the
yeah.
comments.
See, I'm another reason I'm glad you guys did this. I was so nervous about these live streams, just learning the technical side. I don't mind talking on camera. I performed on stages before.
But you want to be able to bring like a group on your channel and talk crypto or in YouTube. Here's the thing: you need to pay us for this StreamYard, right? You need to pay for that. They have like $25 a month. It's like middle ground, but they have a free stream. But you'll have that stupid duck on the right hand corner. When you have the $25 a month, I just put my DigiByte. I put my DigiByte up here.
Oh no, yeah. See, that's why
I can change it anytime.
Right. That's why I asked you earlier on Twitter if you were using StreamYard, because this is the only one I actually like. Like Zoom is, I don't know.
Yeah,
this is definitely better than Zoom. I'll say that.
Zoom lets you actually. This does a green screen and blue screen before you enter too. So I always wanted to buy a screen and get some cool pictures, and it actually pop in 3D, and it doesn't make your face all jittery and all that. Like
yeah, like that little force field cell shaded.
Yeah, it does look professional. And so that would be my advice to you, because I think you'd be able to benefit. And then what I do to get my brand on here, because you just throw your thumbnail in the software. I actually just go to Pixlr and do everything there and put it up in there. I mean, pretty easy.
Yeah, I use Canva for the majority of my graphics. So
okay. Yeah, I'm Bare Essentials, man. I'm Bare Essentials. I just do whatever I need to do just to get everybody talking. Well, now everybody's chiming in. Gladden TV's here. He's another YouTuber. I always wanted. I like to see potential in other YouTubers, And you got it, man. You totally got it. In fact, I saw the one with the 80s workout girl, like in the intro. I'm all about intros, dude. And then I was like, you didn't use it again. I'm like, dang it, dude. That was nostalgic.
Experimentation, man. I was just trying to see, from an analytics side, what works and what doesn't.
Kind of retro. What did you have one guy go, why'd you do that?
oh yeah. And I think I had Carlton on there once a couple times too.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I missed Carlton.
Yeah.
Carlton's cool.
I'm working on ways to keep the intro involved. If you'll notice, the last couple of videos, I put it as my end screen now. So I may add some funky stuff there. Yeah,
I like to, man, and everybody either loves me or hate me, because my intros are either 2 minutes long or a minute long, and then I got outro. But I love doing that, and I don't. And if that's my downfall, so be it. I can't do a 5-second intro and they're like, "Hey, we're talking about crypto today."
Yeah, I did so much research on it because I love my intro. From a YouTube doesn't look highly up on it, but I think it distinguishes a channel. And in the long term, that's what's gonna matter, because our channels are even still early. Like, we often talk about how we're early to crypto. We're early on YouTube with crypto as well. And once the masses get in, we're gonna be pillars in society. That's how
total pillars. I truly believe that. So what do you think about these crypto regulations?
Oh, it's a necessary evil. I hate to say it. It's too much money being moved around. That's the only reason that this new money, this new financial system that's being built across the globe in decentralized networks, we've created an economy now that's just as strong as the traditional markets. And now they need to, we need to catch up and tame this, because we're losing money now.
It's strange though, because in the protocols in an open public ledger, it's transparent yet pseudo private. Then you have secured blockchain code and private keys, cryptographic private keys for the individual. And then you have like, you know, taxes, right? On your like transaction fees, the transaction fees within the protocol itself, not taxes, sorry. And then you have, you know, the Ethereum, you know, cost creating NFTs, you know, but then they want to come in and say, well, that's not good enough. So not only are you paying the transaction fee, you also have to do this third party coming in that crypto actually removed for a better use case, trusting in code, and then they're trying to come in and try to take a piece of the pie. It's almost like, who are they coming? Ultimately, they're eventually going to come after the wallet holders, but you know that's going to be really hard. They're going to have to try to attack like these centralized exchanges to enforce it, and then what's so important there is a DEX exchange, and then they're going to be coming after DEX exchanges, but then we're going to have to just use the blockchain in general. Like, there's got to be development on a blockchain that's not centralized, right? And can't be hunted down, because this is really no reason for them to just be greedy on us. That we're trying to remove them, and we should take a stand for that to a point where, you know, it's doable for them to understand. You know, I'm not saying anti-government. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I mean, they had 100 years to run this country. It's already turned to crap.
I know. I totally agree with that. But I think that's the closest they'll be able to get because of all the cryptography on the users end. Mm-hmm. You know, these exchanges are their closest way to touch us. So if I would expect a lot of regulation, and future exchanges that come in, you know, they try to come under that umbrella of regulation or whatever. But it also makes me ask the question, honestly, and this is something I've been researching too. The origins, the time period of Bitcoin's origin, mm-hmm. from, I want to, the late 08 was the earliest I've heard of talks.
Yeah, 2008
to 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in that part of the timeline because it was so close to the financial crisis, and the decade prior, that's Y2K kicked us into this digital essence.
And not a lot of people know that.
So I'm real interested about that 10-year moment in history between 2000 and 2010, you know, because I feel like it would explain so much about why Bitcoin is looked at the way it is and why these altcoins came into existence,
mm-hmm.
you know. So, and with the regulation, as always, they're trying to cover up their tracks. Right. They released this into the world. It got out of their control. And now they're finding so many ways to bring it back in, you know. Because so many people that work at these exchanges or develop these projects, they've all gone to Ivy League schools around the globe. And we all know all the schools are connected on one plane or another. So education is different at different levels. What was being taught in these schools between 2000 and 2010 that we're living through right now? Yeah, I know that kind of got deep, but it was just something.
It feels planned, you know, and that's all there is to it. Whether Satoshi Nakamoto was this great guy or a hacker or just, you know, multiple, you know, I don't know, the plan 201 or whatever, you know, I mean, we don't exactly know. But what it does is it gives us a glimpse of what the future could look like decentralized, because truthfully, if we get more use cases and more purchasing power with Bitcoin, you know, and all these cryptocurrencies, then why do we have to go to a centralized exchange and expose ourselves when we can just use on the blockchain and purchase real world goods with real world use cases? And this is the thing, like, this is what we need as fast as possible is adoption. Adoption is key, and it's not so much regulation. Yeah, people are getting screwed over because they don't do enough research. And I think if if we as a community like warn people of the pitfalls in crypto, we've done our part,
Yeah.
right? If every YouTube channel warns people, we're like together. We work together and be like, listen, here's the pitfalls. Here's what you have to prepare yourself for. Don't do this. Don't do that. And if this thing, starts sinking in the minds of many, then we'll definitely be the blood is off our hands, so to speak, right? We did our part, but the more use case, more usability on using crypto, you'll never have to cash out in cash. I mean, if I can buy a house with crypto, boom. If I can buy a car with crypto, boom. Why do I have to cash out? You know what I mean? Leave it to the guys that are taking the Bitcoin. They want to cash out in US dollars. Let them worry about the taxes. You know what I mean? But are they going to tax accordingly to our transactions on chain? Because I feel like they don't even need to say in that because it's already doing a transaction fee, right? We're already getting a transaction cost, transaction fee. And then if you go to Coinbase and you're cashing out, you're paying $50 every cash out or, $100 in some cases, depending on how much you have, right? It's just absurd that everybody's in the money to take the piece of the pie from us, the users. So the users have to be a little bit more smarter, and not so much. We're not trying to dodge taxes or taxation or none of that. We just want a better world out there that not everybody is vulnerable. And the whole thing about freedom and all that with crypto is we have a lot of freedom in crypto. And I would hate to see that go, but I mean, like they have problems with privacy coins. They have problems with backdoors. They have problems with web browser wallets. They have all these hacking issues that regulation wants to work out, but it just seems like they just want to tax, and tax. How is that solving any hacker issue or security flaw?
It resembles a lot of the previous system. But that's why I say it's a necessary evil, because if it's regulated on a public forum, there's a large majority of people that will be more comfortable with adopting cryptocurrency.
Right.
And then I don't think it's a coincidence either that so many projects are focused on so many like real world use cases, like real estate, for example, gaming, automotive, energy, retail, e-commerce. Like there's so many projects coming up that's looking to replace the legacy counterpart for extensions of our everyday life. Like now all I use is crypto.com and Coinbase. I haven't used Cash all year. At first it was just Cash App. I would, I'd get my check or whatever, buy Bitcoin, then use the Bitcoin from Cash App and then buy other cryptos, purchase things and stuff like that. But once Coinbase released their card, 4% back in this crypto, 2% back for this crypto. It's a win-win. It's really a win-win system, but not everybody knows how to use it, and they're not comfortable with it because the people that they're accustomed to getting their money from for so many years, the governments, the banks, they haven't approved of it. So it's going to be a tug and pull process. I feel like the next few months until adoption really gets kicked off.
Yeah, it's almost like we need to be able to establish all these companies. The companies want to talk to the companies without any legal jargon, right? They want to protect their image. They want to protect themselves as a company, but they also want to do business. And blockchain is perfect for that because they can use a protocol that's the middleman instead of a bank or the federal government, right? So that's basically what it stamps out. And it's so weird that we just allow them to corrupt this great thing that we have. Nothing against them, but like I said, they had 100 years that they ruined it. So, but I'm trying to see how it all unfolds, just like you. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the future because, the technologies that's being presented, they resemble a lot of the stuff that they told us as kids that we had to look forward to in a way. especially with the metaverse.
The metaverse, yeah, the metaverse, the grid.
Right. Bitcoin, it was a catalyst for crypto itself. Now I think we're entering an age where Ethereum is going to expose the world to the rest of crypto. Like Bitcoin was brought in for crypto to become a household name, to be accepted. Then Ethereum came up behind it as the support layer. Now we have all the other cryptocurrencies because enough people have been desensitized to them to where they're able to accept all this coming technology.
I saw Vitalik Buterin talk about his regret about Ethereum when he created it. And with the team like Charles Hoskinson and all these Polkadot developers and that were on the original Ethereum team, where he's like his major regret wasn't to put he should have put it on a 64-bit. It's much smoother for most systems out today. But I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like they can't go back.
Yeah, and Vitalik, that's another one. Like, I'm sorry, we might get candid for a second, but where did that kid come from? Every time I look at him, I'm so curious. I'm like, because he's only 23, right? He's really
a young guy. Yeah.
Okay, Mark Zuckerberg didn't reach his prime until he was 28, 29. Let me see who came before him. Steve Jobs, well off in his years. How did this kid get here? Not to discredit anything he's done. I'm pretty sure he's a genius, but how I don't know much information about Vitalik's background.
Yeah, he was I'm pretty sure he was an early supporter for Bitcoin development, and he, just like all these guys like Charlie Lee, Jared Tate, Charles Hoskinson, Roger Ver. I know he's like in the mix of early, but talking about all these developers, they actually saw, we can make Bitcoin better. And that's why you always hear later on the Ethereum killer or the Bitcoin killer or whatever. Even though, right now that doesn't paint that story at all. I mean, just look at the price, but or the market cap. But basically, all the developers just wanted to improve what Bitcoin couldn't do. Like doing fast DApp protocols, right? Like something with a DApp that can execute smart contracts, right? And even though Bitcoin can probably do it, it's just smaller blocks and very slow block timing. And so it's kind of like, well, you can't really talk to it other than the store value, right? I mean, I think early on there used to be a bit ID that DigiByte, Matthew Cornelius, finished up the development bit ID and made a DigiID, because obviously DigiByte can handle that, right? I mean, just the technology, cryptographic key part. But it was originally authentication by Bitcoin, and I guess they scrapped that idea. And then I think Vitalik had a developer on his team. There was like 7 or 10 of them, and with Charles Hoskinson and all that, there's a developer, I forget their name, but they developed color coins, and then they scrapped that idea. And then they went ERC20, the token where it just multiplies whatever. You can start your own
token,
and then build from that point on. And DigiByte adopted color coins, which is DigiAssets. And there's so many things that fell off to the side that DigiByte picked back up. That's what's kind of cool. It's like, that's why I say, I don't want people to misunderstand me. That's why I say DigiByte's like a glorified Bitcoin. It's doing everything what Bitcoin was purposed to do. It's just smaller blocks, slower block timings. So when you have these, great minds thinking, hey, we can make Bitcoin a little better, and I think that's how you got, all these other cryptos coming about, in their own, protocols.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that about DigiByte. That was another reason why I was glad to come on the show, because I knew I could learn a little more about DigiByte.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jared forked it from Litecoin. He started from on the script algorithm, and then there was like this massive initiative to get 5 algos on it. So I had a Bitcoin algo, Litecoin algo, Qubit, Skeen or Skyn, whatever, Skeen, and what was the other one? Well,
Mm.
SHA-256, Script, Qubit, Skeen. Shoot, can't remember the other one. It's not important, but now it's
Right. Five
Rosecrypt.
layers of security.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
for you know, decentralizing the mining security.
Hmm.
Um, so that's cool. But then you have Bitcoin doesn't have multiple layers. So you got the Oreo layer, like I always talk about. DigiByte has a core protocol layer. That's what Bitcoin all it is, right? But then you have the DigiAsset layer and then the communications layer, right? So that in itself is like 3 times better than what Bitcoin already is. Just the current development, and I assume, and I asked this from Jared on one of the DigiByte Comm talks that I just keep seeing a picture in the future that DigiByte's going to just continue stacking all these protocols, like real good protocols, right? And I just think that we're going to have some development in the future that DigiByte is going to be all that in a bag of chips and more with some ranch dressing. I don't know if you guys like onion dip or whatever you want. You know what I mean?
I
Or
did. It makes me ask another question too. Like, DigiByte being one, Tezos, another Stellar Lumens, and several other altcoins that they're always coming out with these developments from a technical perspective and fundamental perspective, but they never get any attention. And that kind of brings me back to the whole origin story, that time period in history. It's like, okay, yes, we all know about Bitcoin, we all know about Ethereum, we all know about XRP, Litecoin, etc. But why aren't the other projects around that time that were just as strong technically receiving the same amount of attention? Like, you see a Litecoin logo everywhere at the liquor store, gas station. If there's a Bitcoin ATM, Litecoin's right next to it.
mm-hmm.
Why don't we see DigiByte right there, for example?
Well, I think for the most part is you have a lot of Litecoin evangelists like uh, Johnny Litecoin and John and all these guys working in the payment sector. I think it held true once Charlie Lee quoted it. He's like, I just picture Litecoin being the silver, of Bitcoin being gold. And I think that kind of stuck in the subconscious mind of the crypto world, even though people might not agree with that viewpoint. It just did. And then you saw it on every store and Bitcoin ATM, right?
Yeah. So would that make DigiByte Sapphire?
Yeah, the
you know,
Sapphire
uh,
payment system.
you know.
Grossel, Christopher says Grossel. Is that how you pronounce it? How do you say it? Grossel? That's one of the algorithms that DigiByte had right there. Can you see it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. The mirror Grostal.
Yeah, Grossel.
Okay.
Grossel. Um,
Yeah, see, that's something else I'm getting more comfortable with too, is the developer language throughout cryptocurrency in general.
man,
I didn't necessarily have a coding or programming background, but I understood retail and economics and how companies move and sell things. So,
yeah. Well, that's another thing that you mentioned about VeChain, and
oh yeah.
there's quite a bit of like Chainlink and ADA. They all seem to have all these partnerships, and so does like HBAR and all that.
Hmm.
What's funny is man, we don't really have any giant partnerships for DigiByte. We have a really great community that's developing their own things for DigiByte. So you have like, obviously like Jared's working on his stuff, the community's working on their stuff. You got the DigiByte Foundation working on their stuff, and you just have all these different entities working on their stuff, but mainly they all come from the community, and that's what
Hmm.
really a grass movement community is all about. So I mean, even I wanted to make an app to do something, but then you have to have money for that. So, but it really is. That's what I see in DigiByte. It's like people in the community rise up and do something for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's really good. And then another thing too, in different parts like Nigeria, they really like DigiByte.
Mm-hmm.
It's so popular over there that they cover it on their news programming.
Yeah.
So that kind of could lead to, okay, because they've been convoluting media for years. We know that. So what aren't we seeing over here in the States that other people in other countries are? And
I think
it's the same. Yeah.
It's how DigiByte is going to rise from the ashes in the United States. It's not how much Doge is going to be tomorrow, or all these advertisements for Doge, or or any of that, like in the United States. I think that's all risky. All that kind of commercialization for the cryptocurrency is very risky for the United States. I think they want something that hasn't got the light that it deserves, and then they'll look into, well, why isn't it one of these pump coins? And they'll find out, like, oh, it's a monster. Okay, so this thing could take it all over. And I think that's why I see DigiByte, right? I see, like, oh, well, shoot, grassroots movement, people believe in it. Why do they believe in it? They look into security and all this. I just think it's probably a blessing in disguise that DigiByte hasn't been in the forefront of everybody's mind, just by the current development state, right? I mean, if we get too popular right now, then we're going to have to hire a bunch of developers, just like kind of like what Ethereum did. It's like
I get it. Yeah.
It stops from being a movement to a machine, and then a monument. Like, oh, look at DigiByte, kind of like Bitcoin. Like, look at we'll engrave Bitcoin on this giant statue next to, like, Abraham Lincoln or something, and then that's it. Like, it's done. Once you make a monument or some kind of idol, it's over. Like, that movement's done. Next.
Oh man. Well, they just put up that Satoshi statue in Budapest.
Man.
I hope that. I mean, we are down like 8% today, so yeah. I don't know.
It's funny how things and how real life plays out, and then it kind of affects the minds of the masses, man. Mm-hmm. Did we have any questions for Mr. Wade here, guys? If you want to scroll through the comments too, help me out.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them know you, man.
Go DigiByte. Yeah.
Any questions for Wade before we go? Because let's see, you're gonna have to go, right?
I got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Usually 7 is when we really get things rolling.
So I think everybody loves what you're saying.
I see one here.
Everybody's just agreeing with what you're saying, man.
I think Haruche, I pray I said that right, bro. He's asked me about the first coin I bought.
What was that?
Okay, so first transaction was through Bitcoin, but the first project that I invested in on my own would probably be Stellar. And that was because at the time, XRP, that the price was a little bit higher. So I was kind of looking for the competitor to what was most popular. So I think it was Stellar Lumens at like 15 cents. And this was the winter of 2019. That's when I started. That was the first asset I bought and then decided to hold on to.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Favorite project right now? Okay. Well, actually, I don't know if you guys know, but Acoin has just been listed on Bitmart, which is available for U.S. citizens. Now, he was on BitBoy Crypto today.
Acorn?
Akon, you know the singer Akon?
Yeah.
Okay, he's got the whole city being built in Senegal and all that.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be a crypto that city is basically run with. It's going to have its own currency. And that's been listed on Bitmart. So my excitement right now is really around Acoin. It's on my Twitter account. I reposted it, when they made the announcement. I kind of freaked out a little bit, but
Acorn.
Acoin, yep, that's definitely one I'm looking at. Stellar, still rocking with Stellar because so much CBDC stuff is happening with Stellar. So rocking, definitely focused with Stellar, HBAR, and of course I got a bag of DigiByte. I keep a bag of DigiByte. Honestly, even though the price is down, I think the price, this 3 to 4 cent price range, it's a sweet buying opportunity because you can spread out like $100 even will get you a substantial amount right now, and because we know the price history just with this year alone, you can make gains off of that.
Oh man,
real soon.
I stack thousands, man.
Yeah.
And pretty much anything that, I feel that, man, that according to the technicals on the charts, and I know you do some charts too, by the way. I wanted to say that. I like your what is that chart monitor right behind you? What is that? I know that's
that's just something I like to have in the background.
Oh, that's the look for real. It looks like
yeah,
trading view with some guppies and some kind of oscillator there.
Yeah, somebody's live streaming the prices. But my technical analysis, I was kind of nervous to share it at first. I'm not gonna lie, because so many other guys, they have all these other indicators and they're using all these crazy words and MACD crossover and bullish divergence and all of that. I'm like, I don't see any of those things. Because I actually early on, I used to trade. I used to actually trade with a group called IML Academy. And they were real heavy on indicators and indicators and indicators. But I noticed I wasn't making any money with the indicators. But the moment I took them off and just kind of looked at the chart, looked at, previous behavior trends and stuff like that, then I was kind of able to formulate my own indicators,
Like
and
the Bollinger Bands. I know she used the Bollinger Band.
Yeah, because that one just seemed to click. It would tell me where the cycle tops were, how long it was going to last. Well, give or take two or 3 days. And I started making money when I used those Bollinger Bands. I'll say that.
Yeah, I do notice when it starts, when the candle body closes multiple days above on the Bollinger Bands, and you have that on the daily. This is really bullish. Especially when it's just cutting right through the Bollinger Band. You got these just, green candles above it. It shows you something super strong. Same thing with the reverse side. If the candles are closing on the bottom of the Bollinger Bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the tightening thing I never really got down because I've seen Bollinger Bands come really close and it didn't do nothing. Like, dang it.
Yeah, that I think I noticed that more on the weekly and the monthly time frames.
Oh, okay.
The daily, it's a smaller contraction, you'll notice, but like looking at the weekly, you could really see it. That's how I was able to pinpoint that 42,000, which I found out that you guys actually called out before me last week with you and Harushie's video. He said we were going to retest 42,000. And here we are. So
yeah, based on the EMAs. Yeah, there's a couple. The EMAs are really valuable. I think if the Bollinger Band works, it works. Because I've looked at the Bollinger Bands. I even tried the Ichimoku Cloud, and really the Ichimoku Cloud just wasn't my style. I mean, I tried to figure it out. It's done a couple of things. I try to look too much into it, and I just lost out on whatever I was looking at. I think what works for me are patterns, Haramis. and bat patterns and crab patterns, and I think those work, and just range trading in general. So
Mhm.
your swing high and swing low, that's your range until it isn't, and that's how you know if it's bouncing here. There's a target somewhere up here on the Fibonacci. Then it comes back down, and then there's another target. I mean, it just goes like this until it falls out of that range. Then you know you're in a different range. So range trading helps, and then you have the long, just the 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 patterns, like straight
Mhm.
patterns, like when they work out to a T, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Um,
Yeah.
but I need to work on my Bollinger Band skills. That's for sure. I
Yeah,
do.
I got
Yeah.
my I was watching a forex trader. I took his setup. I'm not gonna lie, because
Okay.
he had different parameters in his trading view, and I copied those and tweaked them a little bit to apply to Bitcoin, and
Mhm.
it worked for all the assets.
I think Shirzad said, let's see, thoughts on
Yeah,
SEC going after DeFi but not. That's kind of weird.
that's very true though. Well, that's because and the my video about the DTCC kind of exposed this. Ethereum is the chosen blockchain. That's been confirmed across all levels, governments, institutions. They're why they're choosing Ethereum. That's why I want to go back to that, that 10-year gap in history, because that's when
Mhm.
those discussions were made. But the reason why they aren't targeting Ethereum is because it's not. That would mean they could go after Vitalik, essentially. If they were going to go after Ethereum, they would have to go after Vitalik on a public forum. That would crush Ethereum instantly. But so they go after the platforms that are built on Ethereum and regulate that, because they've already deemed Ethereum a commodity. There's no more need for regulation. Now they're regulating everything built on Ethereum, because the people that are coming into the space now, everyone who came in during the DeFi summer, not many are aware of what Ethereum went through with the SEC in, what was it, 2018, I believe. Bitcoin and Ethereum, they had their whole trial process and whatnot. So
It
I
makes you
think
think
that's
that,
why that's playing
since
out.
they label it a commodity, but then I guess that's the stepping stone to regulate what DeFi is.
Mm-hmm.
Or should they just lose out? Like, no, you already, it's,
I like the crypto teacher when he says it's all planned out,
yeah,
because it's the truth.
yeah.
It's definitely all planned out. And that's why I love being in the news aspect of it, because you can kind of see the events and how they connect over time. Like that's what's solidified my belief behind Stellar. It's all year, everywhere I've seen their name, just like with DigiByte, everywhere I've seen their name is just like, okay, there's something happening globally, not just in the crypto space, but there is a change happening globally. The organizations of the world are all discussing the importance of digital payments.
Hmm.
That's what they're telling the mainstream media. But in crypto media, we know who's creating the digital payment systems. So it's like you have the everyday person aware that a change is coming, and then you have us who knows where the change is coming. And it's like two worlds that are existing on a plane, like with a thin veil between them, and it's just crazy.
It's funny with Ethereum and then all these networks and everything. Um, I'm just not sure if we're going to see a day where not one of these systems never get hacked, because it seems like every network or every chain has been hacked in some way or fashion, and it's
Right.
just kind of funny. It's kind of funny to me that just choose one of these blockchains just because it's first. This is what we're going to use. That's just like nonsensical to me, because even though I do understand first movers, right, and I do understand what all the people, all the corporate entities invested in Ethereum.
Yeah.
and blockchains like. But it always makes me. Uh, I'm just curious why it's like that, because when you step back, you'll find other blockchains that are more secure and just better overall dApps. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, better user interface, better experience. Like Clever, for example, some of their dApps on their programs, they're quick, uh, very fast. I'd rather use one of their dApps than go on my Coinbase wallet or MetaMask. I can't stand MetaMask. I'm sorry.
Do you know
If
about Humble?
anybody's Humble, I'm little bits. I know that it's a financial project and they're breaking into NFTs, but
Yeah, they're
I'm
doing it.
still trying to solidify the connection between DigiByte and Humble, because I noticed a lot of people they would chime in on my videos mentioning about that.
Hmm. Well, I think that Humble has, you know, they're tackling peer to peer payments. They're tackling NFTs, the Humble Gallery. They're trying to make a one click app for the user for all verticals. Uh, they're like Brian puts like the missing link to blockchain technology and stocks, or the world use case and blockchain. It's like we need more Brian Foots out in the world, because
Hmm.
he's taken all these programmers from and making a big team, and basically creating all these verticals, because you have the ETXs that you connect your Bittrex account to API to your blocks on this Humble app, right? And you can mine on it using the bot algo, so it generates yield for you, so you don't have to trade emotionally.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I got to do some more digging on Humble. I got
yeah,
to do some
Humble.
more digging on Humble.
And then Hugh is he's bullish on ICP, and I know, Insane Clown Posse. Who isn't?
I know, right? Actually, I'm preparing a video about ICP, a why I'm
Okay.
buying video, because and this could actually be a good topic of discussion. They're getting ready. The Definity Foundation just announced that they're getting ready to introduce ICP onto the Bitcoin network. So now smart contracts can be used on the Bitcoin network. I'm still reading the
So
story.
another second layer solution for Bitcoin. So you have also Lightning Network for lightning fast speeds. That's
Right.
still another network. So it's like another chain. Just trying to link it up. It's not on
Yeah.
chain Bitcoin, but that's cool.
Yeah, and that made me wonder, like, I've never heard the conversation of smart contracts with Bitcoin, and then that made me do some more research, and I'm like, okay, it almost seems as though Bitcoin is a smart contract, you
But it's a
know?
DeFi. The
Yeah,
smart contract. Bitcoin is the first decentralized finance from the inception. So it's an open public
gotcha.
ledger. It basically does away from the middleman, peer to peer transactions. That's a decentralized finance. I can give you money halfway across the world,
Hmm.
however long the network is. But that's that's basic archaic DeFi is
Hmm.
Bitcoin. But yeah, I
Huh.
mean, smart contracts. I think that's why Ethereum uh, wanted to go that route. You still need servers to
Mhm.
do that. Um,
Right.
On chain is probably the most valuable, uh, uh, kind of like peer to peer. On chain is the most valuable for an ecosystem. Multi
Hmm.
chains linking up, like kind of like Chainlink. Chainlink is just a protocol to link up all these other chains. Like that's its purpose, right?
Yeah. I
Right.
like Chainlink a lot for that very reason. Like I understand Chainlink's whole vision. They're
Yeah.
just to link everybody. So
So that's the thing about like blockchains, right? So I know we're almost approaching 7 o'clock, but if you're involved with a blockchain, network that has its own ecosystem, kind of like Polkadot, right?
Mhm.
Or DigiByte or Cardano or whatever. It's all dealing on chain for the most part. I need to do more research on some of these blockchains, but if you have one of those that actually does everything inside the blockchain or linked with a service that's on chain, that's what you want. You want to keep everything on chain.
Yeah.
That's valuable. The more use cases, the more usability, the more protocols on chain is more valuable than, oh, I have to buy this crypto, I have to buy that crypto, I have to buy this crypto, and then I want a pancake swap over here, and then I want to come over here again.
Right.
And you got to
I,
really learn the ecosystem. They're all multiple chains. It could be a headache for small time users.
yeah, I think a lot of projects they get off on their ecosystems. Like
Mm.
that would explain the whole Solana incident recently. It was very hyped up, super cool advertising and graphics and social media presence but once they brought in enough people and that system locked up for the first time, they couldn't handle it. So
So what
yeah.
do you want? What are you going to do for your channel, real quick? Just last question. Where's your channel going, man?
Long term, I really want to become. I want to be like Corn Bureau.
I like corn
Bureau.
too. Or
Right, Corn. But yeah, I want to eventually get to a point like Corn Bureau, like BitBoy. Be that face in my community that knows about crypto and that is actively sharing it in my community. Because there are a couple other figures in the space, from my community that don't. They're a lot like BitBoy, where their focus is very cylindrical. But I want to be one of those figures that highlights all of the opportunity when you come to this space.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well,
global adoption, global perspective. That ain't gonna never change.
Man. I like what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Innovate. Change with. And I like your idea. If you just use StreamYard, if you pay the $25 a month thing, man, you'll be able to do all the stuff that I do, and it'll be all good, man.
Oh yeah, I've been paying and I just haven't used it. So
oh, you haven't used it yet? Well, you can
still
set
learning,
on private
man.
Through StreamYard. You can set your you can go private instead of public, and just know that no one can see you playing around, figuring out.
Okay, word.
Yeah, if you need help, I'll be there for you, man. All right.
Right.
Well, with that said, I have an outro. It's the same one I used on Hugh Charez, but man, I know you have to take care of business, so I can't talk to you for too much longer. But I want you to tell everybody sayonara.
Well, like I always say, guys, have a great day. Have a prosperous day. Most importantly, buy you some DigiByte. I'll end it like that.
Later, bro.
Yep. Peace.
First, there was the collapse of civilization, anarchy, genocide, starvation. Then when it seemed things couldn't get any worse, we got the plague. The living death, quickly closing its fist over the entire planet. And then we heard the rumors that the last scientist working on a cure that would end the plague and restore the world. Restore it? Why? I like the death. I like the misery. I like this world!
Mankind has marveled over the birth of AI and its consciousness counterpart, quantum computing, unto a digital utopia. Linked to the neuros of your mind. despite man's best efforts in mathematics, from the legacy system to Bitcoin, and the use cases of blockchain technology. There shall be plagues and pestilences, with an unprecedented future war never seen. And the book was opened and was foretold. All these things must come to pass, because man has forgot the price that was paid for their sins.